Hello, YouTube. I want to talk about what happens if you're a male abuse victim. Domestic violence, sexual assault, any of those things. If you come forward as a male abuse victim, especially if you're white, and yes, it is racial, they will not help you. You'll be denied by law enforcement, medical support, and legal aid. You'll be denied by nonprofits, publicly funded state nonprofits that are supposed to help victims with legal assistance. They won't help you with reprisals or the Darvo phenomena. They'll allow you to be swatted by the same people who hurt you using false reporting to law enforcement and social services. If you have children, they'll target your children, and you won't know peace. The only way that you'll be left alone is if you leave your home and you go on the road and you have all of your mail forwarded to a third party mailing address, like a P.O. box. And it will continue that way as long as you continue to speak out. The more that you inform on the people who hurt you, the more likely it is that you will be harassed, because law enforcement and social services will go out there and they will interview the people who you have informed on. And those people will in turn make things up about you, individually and together as a group, if there's more than one of them. And they will retaliate using false reporting to initiate swatting calls and social welfare and law enforcement inquiries into you and those that you love. I wish that I could say that there's an easy fix to that. There's due process, and there's constitutional law, and there's also probable cause and warrant requirements. And the authorities will often try to overstep and use coercion tactics or run your debit card in order to see where you're paying for housing and check your bank activity. And the deal is that that's illegal, but they do that. They don't care what's happened to you. They'll give you citations for moving violations and other bullshit like that anyway. You can sit there and you can tell them, hey, I got hurt with a weapon by someone. I got cut with a knife, or I got shot, or something like that. And regardless of the truth of it and the severity of it, they'll still continue to give you citations. Some of them will let you off the hook as far as financial responsibility when they pull you over and they're trying to give you a ticket, but most of the time they're going to screw you. It's just terrible. What people are having to deal with out there is just terrible. I've met many people who, finding out that there is nothing, would abandon hope and end up with addiction issues and things like that. You can find peace. You need to get housing that doesn't have a utility bill, don't have any kind of contracts in your name associated with your credit report that are linked to your physical address. Live with someone else if you have to, but never receive mail where you're living. Don't have any lease, don't have any public utility bills. Don't tell your friends or your family your address. anybody who might have malevolent intent or break the seal of confidence, don't tell them, because they will continue to bother you as long as you're speaking out trying to tell the truth. People will make things up about you to try to have your sanity and your validity as an informant and a witness about what happened to you questioned. They will try to discredit you, and it can lead to other types of inquiries, unfortunately. If you try to tell the truth and stand up for yourself, you're going to face reprisals. And if you do nothing, you're going to continue to face oppression from the people who have been hurting you in some form or other, even if it's your family, even if it's a relative or someone from a family that you married into, like your spouse. A lot of the time, people in these circumstances that I describe just want peace, and the objective of their abusers is often to simply have power over them and to torment them. The abusers are tyrants, and they will not stop until you make them stop or you get away from them. Sometimes when you try to leave, they will not let you. And they want something. There's usually a financial agenda, or there's a power agenda involved. They want something, and you can't give in. But you can't rely on external support from government authorities in those situations unless you have absolute hard evidence proving the guilt of those you're sharing information about. Because it becomes a situation of he said, she said. And the more you share, the more likely it is that eventually law enforcement is just going to see you as a problem. Because each report that's filed becomes a little note card associated with your DPS driver's license. And if social services can't find you, then they will flag your ID in the DPS system and attach a note that says that they're looking for you, so that law enforcement will make inquiry when they have contact with you on the road, whether it's through running your driver's license or your license plate. And they're going to give you a hard time trying to figure out what your actual physical address is. That's the true horror of trying to tell the truth about what's happened to you and what happens over a long period of time. Because their objective isn't to help you, it's to find justification to tax you further as a victim and survivor of abuse. I know how bad that sounds, but it's the truth. And you'll never know peace if you try to rely on them. You won't. You have to find your own solutions, put as much distance between you and your abusers as possible.